Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, Kissimmee Airport finalizes landing fees. China's potential 6th-gen fighter takes flight. LSAs turned into UAVs have a tough time in Ukraine conflict. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Talon. Let's get into today's stories. Kissimmee Airport finalizes landing fees. ANN has been looking into issues involving the proliferation and collection of landing fees, the companies that are involved in those collections, and the legalities surrounding all of this, and we grow increasingly concerned over the effect on GA. After months of pushback from locals, the Kissimmee City Commission has questionably approved landing fees for the Kissimmee Gateway Airport. The city initially decided to pursue the introduction of landing fees at a meeting on September 17th. The commission hoped to begin making charges on November 1st and review the rates a year later. However, recently elected Commissioner Carlos Alvarez insisted that the structure be revised before being enforced. The city received countless complaints from Kissimmee pilots and aviation representatives noting that the landing fees would either cause pilots to forego touch and goes, removing a widely utilized safety practice, or spend more on flight training. It could also cause pilots to avoid the field altogether, which could impact nearby businesses. The commission voted 4-0 to pass the landing fees in late December, while again ignoring much of the input of airport users. They will cost pilots $3 per 1,000 pounds for fixed-wing aircraft and $20 flat for helicopters. Planes weighing under 5,000 pounds will get one free landing each day. The structure is slated to go into effect on February 1st, 2025. After the break, Air Race Classic returns for 2025.
I'm currently using the Heartzel Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Heartzel's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Air Race Classic returns for 2025. Air Race Classic registration opens January 2nd, 2025 for the 48th ARC to be held June 17th through 20th. Women pilots from across the U.S. and around the world will take off Tuesday, June 17th from H.L. Sonny Callahan Airport in Fairhope, Alabama, for a 2,426 statute mile competition across 9 states that ends Friday, June 20th at Phelps Field in Spokane, Washington. The oldest race of its kind in the nation, the Air Race Classic traces its roots to the 1929 Women's Air Derby. Blue Origin about to launch New Glenn. New Glenn successfully completed an integrated launch vehicle hot fire test over the holiday week, the final major milestone on the road to the first flight. NG-1 will carry a Blue Ring Pathfinder as its first manifested payload and will launch from Launch Complex 36 in Cape Canaveral, Florida. The 7-engine hot fire lasted 24 seconds and marked the first time they operated the entire flight vehicle as an integrated system. The multi-day test campaign leading up to the hot fire included numerous inert functional and tanking tests. X-59 engine performs max runs prior to flight. NASA announced the first maximum afterburner engine run test of its X-59 quiet supersonic research aircraft, representing a significant landmark as the X-59 proceeds towards flight testing. The test run showed that the F414 GE100 engine with the afterburner does provide sufficient power for supersonic flight. The test showed the engine's ability to operate within temperature limits and with adequate airflow for flight. It also demonstrated that the engine works in sync with other subsystems of the aircraft. The X-59 is expected to make its first flight in 2025. VMFA 314 returns to home base after combat deployment. On December 14th, the Black Knights of Marine Fighter Attack Squadron 314 returned to their home base with the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, following a 5-month deployment with Carrier Strike Group 3 to the U.S. 7th and 5th Fleet areas of operation. Following completion of a 4-week composite training unit exercise, VMFA 314 deployed with Carrier Air Wing 9 on July 11th and embarked aboard the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. China's potential 6th-gen fighter takes flight. China is flying a new 6th-gen fighter jet design. While many observations are purely speculative, the aircraft seems to be equipped with several unique features for improved stealth and performance. The previously unseen jet was observed taking a daytime flight test, chased by a 2-seat Chengdu J-20S fighter. The jet has a tailless design with 5 control surfaces on the trailing edge of the wing to give extra authority and serve as air brakes. It uses a modified delta wing and has chine lines running up to the nose. Many next-gen aircraft have removed the traditional tail, mainly for stealth purposes since tailless jets typically produce smaller radar signatures. This configuration also improves aerodynamic efficiency by reducing drag, providing overall improved performance in long, high-speed flights and cruise. However, not having a tail can cause problems with the aircraft's maneuverability. The new jet looked to be about the same size as the J-20S chase plane, which is nearly 70 feet from nose to tail. Arguably, the strangest aspect of the potential 6th-gen fighter is its 3 air intakes, one on top of the fuselage and the others on each side of the lower fuselage. This points to an extremely unusual 3-engine structure. After these messages, LSAs turned into UAVs have a tough time in Ukraine conflict.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most: time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Welcome back. LSAs turned into UAVs have a tough time in Ukraine conflict. In an attempt to find cost-effective answers to military problems, Ukraine has refitted a number of Aeroprakt A-22 LSA designs to serve as UAVs, but the last week has not been kind to them. On Christmas, a modified Aeroprakt A-22 Foxbat light sport aircraft was shot down by Russian air defense forces in Grozny, Republic of Chechnya. The aircraft had been used as an ersatz unmanned attack aircraft. The aircraft was reportedly intercepted using a Panzer air defense system as it approached the western suburbs of the city, traveling on easterly bearing. Heavy fog was present around the city at the time. On the same day, another modified Aeroprakt A-22 Foxbat LSA was shot down by Russian air defense forces in Moldovan, Republic of Ingushetia. The aircraft had also been used as an ersatz unmanned attack aircraft. Other interceptions of Aeroprakt aircraft in Russian airspace revealed that these aircraft were likely being used for clandestine missions, operating from the northeast of Ukraine, about 1,200 kilometers from the site of the attack. These aircraft are chosen due to their small size, short field performance, and small radar cross-section. At least 3 other such aircraft have been lost in the last few months under similar circumstances. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.